Welcome to the Feeling Friday edition of Facing Our Fears with Dr. Jim Porter and Karen White Porter, author. Today, we're going to talk about how we face our fears. And we hope to show you a children's book that I'm working on right now. And we want to discuss it. For those of you who are listening to a podcast, we're going to describe it for you. And this is a book for children. And, adults can also benefit for thinking about how we cope with our fear. So we're going to start out with this image here of I feel afraid when I see a spider. And where there's two children crawling on top of a table while they're trying to play a board game and a spider underneath it. And the book starts out with, let's play in the house. And there's a spider outside. And they say, we can play a game. And then the spider goes in the house. And you can see the spider crawling up the stairs to go into the house. And then they look and see the spider and say, oh no. And then the spider comes closer through the door. And they look and they see the spider coming closer to themselves. And they say, look, look, look. And they ask themselves, what can I do? And they say, I see a spider. And they say, help, help. And somebody comes in and gets a glass and puts it over the spider and a piece of paper and puts it over this spider, under the spider, and then takes the spider outside. And that is this particular emotion of two children being afraid. And I have a lot of questions about fear.
Is this the new one or the one that we were going to return back to?
This is a new one. Now, the one we're going to return back to, let me show you, because, well, why don't we talk about this one for just 5 minutes, and then we'll come back to this other one. The other one we did before was I feel embarrassed when I can't jump.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized as I was working on fear that, feelings aren't just, even though each book is focusing on one emotion, I think feelings are more complex than that. And I think in this situation, I think Ada had some fear about jumping
Mm-hmm.
onto the cliff.
Okay.
And I changed the hill into a cliff to make it look a little scarier.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Okay, so where are we on at this moment?
Okay, so let's talk about how does one cope with fear? I mean, I think children have a problem about self-regulation. And I think adults and parents need to help kids cope with their self-regulation. And how can we do this?
Okay, I missed some of your sentence because it froze.
Okay, so children need help to overcome fear sometimes, especially around the age of 5 or 6.
All right.
And so facing those learned fears that kids have sometimes is just facing those fears head on is a great way to conquer them. But sometimes it's not appropriate to do that. So can you talk about how to face fear?
I suppose so. I mean, I don't know if I have there's a step-by-step how-to, but one thing I would say is breathe on purpose. Breathe on purpose. That's how I would say to face the feeling of fear. You just breathe, pay attention to your breathing. Don't necessarily try to push the fear away, and don't try to make your fear bigger or anything, but just don't necessarily try to ignore your fear. I don't know if you're talking about in specific situations.
Well, yeah, in this
Like
particular
a spider
situation,
isn't a fear, and a spider is not a fear. Fear is an emotion. So the feeling is a fear. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that for the people watching.
okay,
So
so
when we say face our fears, that means face the emotion of fear. But I think a lot of times people use that to mean face the things that scare us. So,
yeah,
so that's an important designation.
cool.
So what does it mean here for us?
Well, that's the self-regulation that I think kids need to be taught. And I think a lot of times I've noticed that, these kids in the story, they jump up on the table
Mm-hmm.
and they call, I'm the first time I wrote it, I was like, I have them call their mom, and their mom comes and puts the glass on it and everything. But I'm kind of stuck because I think it would be better if one of their friends came and did it,
How come?
because I think it's healthier for people to learn how to cope with their fears on their own.
Mm,
And when you have, especially in a children's book, in real life, for parents, yes, I think it's good to teach your children that if you're afraid about something, tell your mom and dad. We
mhm.
can help you get through it. So I think
Yeah.
there's two messages here, but I think the message for the children is, you know, um, it's okay to be afraid, and it's okay to tell somebody that you're
Mhm.
afraid, because maybe you don't know if the spider is poisonous.
Yes. So right. Good point. Right. So that's okay. So that's one thing is like, is there a real danger that you should get an adult for? Is there something scary that you're pretty sure you don't need to get an adult for? I guess that's an important designation. In the story, would you prefer them to know that it's a non-venomous spider because they've seen them so many times before or something like that?
That's really hard because I'm writing a Basil writer series, a reading series, and I'm only have enough room for one big word.
Big
Uh,
word.
Non-venomous.
Oh, I
Um,
don't mean that.
I could say bad spider, good spider.
You could say bad spider, good spider, yeah, some three-letter word that shows that spider is okay, or that spider won't hurt me. But it really is down to three-letter words, right?
Well, three, four, some five, but
So it could be
there's,
that spider. Um, my mom said that spider will not hurt me, or sentences like that. I don't know. There's a way to do it, I think.
yeah, I could even have, would be interesting is to have it, the list at the end of the book of, you know, typical venomous bad spiders and good spiders. And why are
Yep.
some spiders good and why are some spiders bad?
We have wolf spiders, and I don't know if they bite or not. I don't know how much it takes to get them to bite you.
They
I don't
can,
know.
they
Yeah, I
can,
mean, I believe every spider can bite, except I think daddy long legs can't get their little bite into you if they are
yeah.
actually a spider. They're not really spiders, I don't think. But
It's
anyway,
interesting because we never had that problem with our daughter. I don't ever remember her picking up a spider on her own.
maybe not. I don't know. And I guess spiders aren't necessarily the topic here, I think.
No, but it's how we cope with our fears. So there are
Yeah.
some good fears. The fears are important
Hmm.
for protecting us.
Yeah. So feeling scared might make you uh, go get a glass and cover it up and put a card underneath it and take it out and put it on the sidewalk. Whereas lack of fear might just make a kid go grab it and pick it up. Um, so
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing. And if it were something else like a bug, you wouldn't have to worry about accidentally teaching the kids to pick up venomous spiders, perhaps. But
Yeah. But I could have a one kid teach another kid, that there's bad spiders and good spiders.
that's true. You know that grade level much better than I do, that age level.
Yeah.
So yeah, whatever you
But
think is
if you really think about it, I mean, come on. I've known My favorite story is like had a hygiene unit one time when I was teaching little kids, and I brought this big bowl of water. I was just starting to teach, I got a big bowl of water and a hair dryer and soap and washcloth, and I was teaching them, washing your hands, because there's all new words for kids who don't speak English. So I decided, so I had this big bowl and it didn't have water in it yet. So I sent Nathaniel, and he was the sweetest boy. He would do anything for me. So he goes to the bathroom to get water. And on his way back, he trips and dumps the whole thing all over himself. And it was in
Oh,
New Jersey in the middle of the winter. And so
oh,
luckily I had the hairdryer. So we were like drying the whole lesson was spent drying Nathaniel off. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is, would a 5 or 6 year old be able to be coordinated enough to put that paper under the spider?
that's a good point too. And what are you trying to teach here? I guess you're trying to teach that even if you feel afraid, it doesn't mean that you're in danger, I guess. Your emotions don't tell you if something's happening. They tell you what they think might be happening that you should watch out for. And they generally like to go in the negative direction of expectation.
Well, maybe we could
So,
have more dialogue. Maybe the mom should be involved in this, and we could say there are good spiders and bad spiders, and they ask for help. And
now, what's interesting is if the mom gets involved and the kid is afraid and asks mom, then she says, "Oh, yes, there's a way to do this. I do it all the time. You use a cup and a card, blah, 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 blah. Do you want me to do it for you? Or do you feel, I mean, or do you want to try?" And the kid might say, "Well, I'm afraid, but you told me it's safe, so I want to try." And then maybe the kid can do the card thing with mom's help or what some way to make
yeah,
it work. So you can say this kid did step A. They pay attention to the feeling because the feeling matters, and then did an evaluation of the situation with help from an adult in this situation, and realized that even though I'm afraid, we don't have a dangerous situation here. And then the kid gets to decide based on that for himself or herself what they want to do. Do they want to let mom pick up the spider, or do they want to try? So if they decide they want to try, then I think that makes the whole situation safe. The kid's
yeah.
trying because the mom explained that it's okay if he wants to or she wants to.
So what are those steps again? Could you tell me? Evaluation or
Oh
facing?
yeah, yeah. So emotions are alert systems in a way. They're trying to get our body ready to do something, but we feel all that in our sensory, and our brain tells us stories in 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 different emotional states. It tells us different stories. So with fear, you get all these feelings, these emotions, these sensations in the body, and then you get these danger ideas in your head. And that's fine because you might be in danger, but you might not. So step two, which is the first one, is just notice the feelings and cognitions, whatever they are, don't try to shove them away. And then the second one is, what's the actual situation? Slow down and look at the situation and try to decide what to do. Oh, tell mom. Oh, mom tells me something. Oh, mom's asking me if I feel safe, or if I feel like I want to pick up the spider and take it out anyway. So the steps are, become aware of your emotional state. Don't try, or the opposite is, don't try to stop or ignore your emotions, but don't obey your emotions. You don't just go screaming around the room because there's a spider if you've learned how to pay attention to your emotions. And you don't stuff the emotions in the back and ignore them if you've learned how to pay attention to your emotions. And then when you're in the process of being able to be aware and present for your emotions, you can also be aware and present for the situation that you're in, and you can evaluate the situation. So it's like, become aware of emotions, become aware of the situation, evaluate the situation, and take your action. So yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
huge. That is huge.
I love that.
Yeah, we
I
should put
love what
that
I
in
just said.
all of them because that's the old Viktor Frankl quote that comes to mind of between stimulus and a response is where your power lies.
Mhm.
And having that ability to stop and
You told
observe
me, yeah, you told me he said between the stimulus and the response, there is something,
a
space,
space.
a space, and I'll meet you there or something like that.
No, and that's where your power lies,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I think.
Oh,
I'll
wait, I
look
thought
it
it
up.
was it Rumi? Did you say it was Rumi or Viktor
No,
Frankl?
Viktor Frankl.
Oh, okay. Well, then what did Rumi say?
I
Lots
don't
of things.
know. I'll have to look that up. We'll find that out and I'll put it right up here.
I don't know if Rumi said anything, except he said a
Oh
lot of
boy, we'll find out.
things. Oh, yeah.
But now, okay, this is huge and I love it. And now I want to show you my
Oh, yeah.
next thing and because I think
Are we
we
going back to the old humiliated or embarrassed one?
yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so I made a cliff face instead of a hill
All
to
right.
have them try to cope with these things. So um, let's see if I can grab this, share this screen, and go here and see how wonderful these poor little kids are doing.
Oh boy, you do have a cliff face there. Did they
They're-
get up there from the trampoline?
yes.
That's amazing.
Okay,
Does
here's
a
all the
teacher come by at the end and reprimand them? Is it like a sizable, like is it a, like 4 foot high in your imagination or
well,
whatever?
I'm exaggerating a little bit here. I don't know. It's probably about 20 feet high they're jumping, but they're monsters, so it's okay.
Okay. All right. You're the one that has to sell this to other people.
It's funnier this way. Okay. Ben said, look at Cal jump. Cal said, I can jump up here. Ben said, can we jump up there? Cal said, yes, you can jump up here. Come up here now. Deb said, I can jump up there. I can. Yes, I can. I can jump up here, Deb said. Ben said, now I can jump up there. Ben said, I can jump up here too. Ada said, I will try to jump. Ada said, oh no. Ada said, oh no, I cannot jump. Cal said, oh no, she cannot jump. Ada said, I cannot come up there. I feel embarrassed. Cal said, yes, you can. You can come up here. Ada said, no, I cannot jump. I will go home now. I cannot go up there. Deb said, no, do not go home. I can help you come up here. Ada said, I feel so embarrassed when I cannot jump. Cal said, yes, you can come up here. Ada went up. Cal said, you can come up. Deb said, yes, come here. Ben said, yes. Ada, Ben, Cal, and Deb all went up. Ada, Ben, Cal, and Deb all said,
Okay, just before I forget, I noticed that to me it looks like Ada just disappeared out of nowhere. So you might want to have a picture of Ada walking in front of the trampoline in that part where it says Ada went up or whatever.
Ada,
first,
Ben, Cal, and Deb all went up.
there was one a couple ago that looks exactly like that.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Ada went up. That looks to me like she might have been assumed into heaven. It doesn't explain that she went off and walked. I wasn't sure if she jumped, walked, moved to the left, moved to the right. So I think
Okay,
you
so
want to
she,
have her in a walking pose, kind of in front of the trampoline, obscuring the trampoline a little bit, or I mean, just to show that
yeah,
Ada exit stage right or whatever. No,
okay,
stage left. Yeah, exit stage.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. But
That's one thing I just wanted to say for clarity, since I'm a
yeah, I love
I'm
it.
a
I
novel
love
viewer.
these. Yeah, it's so much fun working with you on this. I really appreciate it. So I think the reason why Ada can't jump up there, partially, I can really identify with this myself, is she just is afraid. I used to be afraid to play baseball. I was afraid of the ball.
Yeah, you
So,
know what did come up for me is that there's another thing. I think I wasn't sure where she is falling over and it says I cannot jump or something like that.
yeah.
I feel like even I, as a grown-up dude, couldn't what goes before that? What happens before that? Okay, and then before that? Yeah, I guess it is obvious, but for some reason in my brain in the immediate moment, as she tipped over, can you go again to the next one?
Um,
Ada said, oh no. I might be tempted to, instead of putting Ada said, oh no, I might put Ada fell.
oh yeah.
That means it gives it the kids one thing to think about, and then the next logical thing is Ada's thinking that they can't jump, that kind of thing. So the reason I say that is because I don't know, Ada said oh no. I know that my brain is very special and different and weird, but it made me wonder when we know what's going on with Ada. Why is
Yeah.
she upside down?
And do you
What
think, if you see this picture here, do you think I should have her legs bent like she's up in the air, like trying to jump? And
that might be another thing that makes the fall make more sense, because she's just standing there and all of a sudden she's saying oh no and tipping over.
yeah, so I need
Which,
to have
which
her do
yeah,
a clumsy jump of some kind, like
yes.
how
Children should not drink when they're on trampolines. That's another. See what I mean? See what happens?
okay, look how high that cliff is now. I need to fix her on that one too, where she
Mhm.
fell. Looks like she dashed upon the rocks. So I need her to look a little bit healthier.
Also, just a little note, if you don't mind. There's the same lesson that we just discussed a second ago. Um, doesn't doesn't oh yeah, applies here. It seems like it's demonstrated here. Ada could feel embarrassed climbing all the way up the cliff. That doesn't mean she can't. She can feel embarrassed all the way up the cliff. And embarrassment all the way up the cliff. Embarrassment, I think, to me means, it's embarrassment in the eyes of others. Oh no, what do they think of me? Oh my gosh, they're going to judge me. And it doesn't mean they're going to judge you, but it sure feels like it. So I like in here, whether you state it clearly or not, obviously or not, that she could still be feeling the embarrassment all the way up that hill, but
Yeah.
going up the hill anyway. So that's another short way of saying what I said earlier. They say feel the fear and do it anyway, feel the embarrassment and do it anyway, feel the guilt and do it anyway.
Yeah, because there's a moment right here where she's going home and then
Mm-hmm.
they talk her out of it. And so this is the moment between the
So she may
stimulus and the
feel,
response.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So she may feel differently at that moment when she notices they're asking her to go up. So yeah, there are two possible scenarios, and they're both good for this. And you can just keep it the way it is, and the kids can
Yeah, but
imagine.
it would be really cool to show her face in between here and here.
Oh yes, yes. Like her face is like, I'm embarrassed.
Ada stopped and thought about how she felt. And then
Oh,
she
you can do that.
decided
Yes, yes.
to go anyway. I mean, if I can figure out how to say that in this
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
smaller,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is wonderful. Well, I really appreciate, I think we had a really good session today.
Yeah. This was
And
really neat. I like
I,
what you did with the pictures too. It's always fun to see how they change.
it's fun. There's going to be a 24 book series. And just by working with you, I really feel like I can hone this process of really looking at our social interaction and how emotions are defined by that. And I
Mhm.
think it's so important. And here, by working with you on this, you have so much insight as a mental health counselor to help us do that.
Even though it goes haywire, sometimes our emotions largely are assistive in working and interacting together. In the best situations, we're co-regulating neurologically, just being in each other's presence. But of course, there are times when it makes it really hard. Anyway.
Yeah, I think emotions do not exist within a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Yeah, I
all
think you're probably right. Yeah. Yeah. I bet you. Remember those old, I don't even know, I haven't read anything about them, but remember the old sensory deprivation stuff that they thought was going to make people be enlightened?
Yeah.
And it turns out it just made them have psychotic symptoms. So yeah, I think with a lack of appropriate stimulation, including human stimulation, a lot of things can be problematic. And with very, very bad human stimulation, things can go problematic.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're it's better trying to work out relationships for our personal health.
This is wonderful.
All right.
Well, thank you. And we will look forward to seeing everybody next week on Friday. And we are now putting these books out with the podcast and YouTube. And also, we are going to have books available for you soon in
Okay.
a indie bookstore near you.
All right. And I'll go I'll talk to you in a little while.
You know what? Did I press record?
I believe you might have. I don't know. Did you? Have we been recording?